Hi, I'm Lauren, and for my article analysis, I chose the positive peer effects of classroom diversity, exploring the relationship between English language learner classmates and socio-emotional skills in early elementary school. This article was written by Michael Gottfried. He is a professor, so this article has many research components, and they did so much research. So this article was well-based and has really good facts to it. So the purpose of this article, there were two main purposes. The first one was to discover if the presence of ELL students in a classroom with non-ELL students, so mainstreaming instead of having a separate classroom for ELLs, they were trying to find if there is a connection to an improvement in socio-emotional outcomes of members of the same classroom in kindergarten and first grade. The second purpose was, can these positive effects be increased by various individual academic and demographic characteristics, classroom contextual factors, and teacher characteristics? So, is having ELL students in the same classroom as non-ELL students beneficial to all the students? And can those positive characteristics be replaced or replicated? So, what did the researchers do? The researchers followed over 1,000 students in kindergarten. The different data from all those 1,000 students was collected from both private schools and public schools. The researchers made a point to get a diverse look at everything from different social economic statuses, from private versus public, kind of that mentality. You can have different religions depending on. So they tried to be really broad in who they research so they could get the most accurate information. The researchers also checked back with the same students that were in kindergarten. They checked back at the end of their first grade year to see if any of these positive benefits of being in classrooms with ELL students had actually lasted or if they were just concentrated in that year. So the researcher focused on the students' classroom behaviors, not just focusing on their academic achievements. They really wanted to see how the students were socially instead of just how did they do in class. So, why is this paper important? So, that's a big thing. Why even read this paper? So, academic and behavioral characteristics of children in kindergarten and first grade have been highly correlated with future ability or inability to succeed in school. So, this research is important because if a child is in a classroom, a non-ELL child is in a classroom with an ELL student, and that influences their first few years of schooling, is that going to be positive or negative for that child for the rest of their years? So it kind of makes sense. Kids in kindergarten, first grade, they kind of are experiencing school for the first time, and they are basing their image of school based on those first few years. So if they're negative years, that will carry on with that child, sadly, unless they get a really great teacher like all of us. So this paper is also important because positive social emotional development in these early years of schooling has been directly linked to successful educational outcomes. So if a student has really good kindergarten, first grade years, they're going to do well for the rest of their schooling, hopefully, based on this information. And having difficulty with social emotional skills in kindergarten has been cited as one primary reason why many young students cannot successfully transition into school. So again, this is a really crucial time in students' lives, and if something goes wrong, that child can possibly hate school, and school is so long. So these first few years is really important to kind of have a strong foundation to hopefully loving or even accepting school. So the article kind of goes over some possible negative effects of including ELL students with non-ELL students, kind of to debunk these. These are almost like theories or myths that some parents may have or teachers may have. So they kind of went over these to debunk them in a way. So the article states that ELL students may potentially utilize a disproportionate amount of teaching time and attention, thereby skewing the teacher's ability to monitor other students or to properly interact with them. So basically, the article is saying that people may think that an ELL student needs help all class and the teacher has to focus his or her time on those few students and the rest of the students are kind of just left without instruction. And then having ELL peers decreases reading achievement in kindergarten. So that is an idea that kindergarten students, I mean, they're starting to read. So for ELL students, it's kind of, they're being exposed to both languages to read at the same time. And in some ways, that might actually be better. And then diversity might fracture a classroom environment. My thinking would be a parent thinks that, oh, all the ELL students will only be together and then the rest of the students will feel left out and there'll be class divisions within the classroom. So these are all kind of myths to having ELL students being a bad thing in the same classroom. So, the research actually found, these are the results, that kindergarten and first grade students in the sample who have a greater number of EL classmates tended to have fewer behavior issues, better social skills, including higher levels of self-control, more approaches to learning, and better interpersonal skills. So, all those negative ideas of having the EL students were actually found wrong, and students were able to have these new or the ELL students in their classroom and they did better. So in some ways, the teacher may have had to focus on an ELL student and the other students were able to, oh, I can do this math problem this way. And it actually boosted their learning. And then additional supports and services that were provided to the class could possibly promote socio-emotional skills and formations of the students in a positive way. Examples of that would be a teacher's aide, so there's more people or more adults in the classroom. So some EL students could be with the teacher and the teacher's aide could be watching over the other students. And then the teacher's strategies. So all these SDI and ELD lessons that we're learning could help us in the classroom teach non-ELL students and ELL students. So everyone benefits from the teacher having better knowledge and better strategies to helping the students. So more results or being in a classroom with ELL classmates may provide the students unique opportunities to learn about the value of diversity. The students are able to learn from other students with unique needs. The students are able to learn patience because they may have to hear the same instruction over and over again for other students who are finding a foundation in English. So they have patience and they can help other students and work with them and help them. And learning patience is a really important thing to learn in life. And the students are able to accept the presence of students with individual differences. So having ELL students in the same classroom as non-ELL students help all the students work together, learn more about different cultures, learn about different needs, and it's a more accepting environment with the different students and all the different learning abilities. So the research article also went over other influences that could possibly influence how the students are able to learn with ELL students and non-ELL students all together. So the teacher's feelings and attitudes towards how they think the ELL students will affect the non-ELL students is important. So if the teacher believes that the ELL students will slow down the classroom and they will cause the content to be have to water down, that will happen. So the teacher a very, very big role in the classroom. The ELL students are able to teach the non-ELL students a lot of different things, such as patience and different learning styles, but the teacher's presence and the teacher's attitude really determines if any of the students can learn anything. Another influence is the parents of students. So if some parents know that their ELL students, whether students, they could possibly be on the phone with another parent complaining and or saying something positive, but the student can hear that and that will influence how they act around their classmates. So a lot of those attitudes and feelings from both the teachers and the parents will really influence what happens. And the teacher's training in ESL. The greater number of courses a teacher has taken in ESL has been related to a positive increase on several of the social emotional outcomes for non-ELL students in the classroom. So if the teacher is able to teach Jedi lessons and create and adaptations and make all these different lessons easy and teachable, and the teacher has really good foundation in teaching ELL students, that will really help the classroom. But if you have an inexperienced teacher who is not able to really teach those students, everyone else is hurt because of it. And I thought this picture was really good because we have all had one of those teachers where it's just you don't get anything, no pleasure of any class, and that's the saddest part, and it really shows how important we are as teachers and how much of an influence we have every single day in the lives of all of our students, regardless if they're special needs or ELLs or just kids who need caring for. We have a really big job and big purpose. And this article did a really good job about going over and seeing all the different positive benefits from inclusion of ELL students and our role as teachers and parents, the role we have to play. So I really liked this article. It was a good read. It was really long, but it had such good information and facts and debunked all those negative ideas of including ELL students. I think our mindsets, well, mine is that ELL students are going to be a part of all of our classrooms, so we don't really get a choice. Not that we would ever reject them, but there are so many positive things that can happen, and we should enjoy those and experience those and go into teaching each day with a very, very positive attitude. So, thank you for listening to my screencast. I will see you in class. Or at this point, you'll just be looking at me. Okay, bye.